The Nimble with Numbers team presents Chalked Blocked with Bo Big Time McBrayer.
I gotta know what a $5 shake tastes like.
That's hot. That's hot.
I want winners, Bo. You don't know diddly.
And his partner, Scott Stag Simpson.
Do you know who I am?
Trying to put Tiger Bomb on this jungle's nuts.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
I gotta catch a glimpse of these warlocks. Let's make a move. Let's make a move. Let's make a move.
Hey, you guys, welcome back to Chalk Blocked, the world's sexiest DFS show for now. I'm Bo McBrayer. You know Nimble over there to my left on the screen. You got the Math Magician. He's got a new gig. He's actually working in the fantasy industry now. Jordan Vanek DFS. He's good at DFS. We're all good at DFS. I even think Dan and Jeff are probably good at DFS. I'm going to go in clockwise order, or on screen, I'll have to go the opposite way. Clockwise order. I don't know this. It's a reverse. But down below me to my right, we have a hashtag fellow girl dad. Yeah, shout out girl dads. He's the lead Devy and NFL writer at Fantasy Pros. He's a great writer. I mean, he just dropped something about Travis Etienne that made my mind go, love it. He also does contributions to Football Guys, Devy Royale, Edge of Chaos, Going for Two. He's in Scott Fishbowl 11 with me, and Scott and Jordan and Dan. We're all in Scott Fishbowl 11, but only I'm going to win. He's somehow still a Bills fan after all these years. Good boy, that came back into style is pretty impressive. And, of course, he's a Devy expert, so he's going to follow college football like I do and like Jordan does. That for whom J Bell tolls, time marches on.
Thank you, Bo. That's quite the intro. I am greatly appreciative of that. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. You know, it's a crazy news day, and I'm sure we're going to touch on everything else that's out there. But that was a fantastic intro, and so thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. And speaking of coming on the show, we missed Eagle Dan a couple weeks ago, but we got him back. He's still here. Love it. Eagle Dan. Oh, I missed it. Where'd it go? Oh, no.
I mean, was the list for Jeff too long? Like, did you just run out of pages on your Word? Because
no, I clicked the page on accident. Oh yeah, he's a writer for Roto Underworld. He's the co-host of the pod with Upside. He's a ranker, dynasty ranker, Fantasy Pros. That's big deal right there. I've been trying to get into that for all the whole time. And he's a diehard Eagles fan. I mean, I shouldn't have even said that.
But you did.
Sci-fi nerd. I mean, I'm hoping he likes Battlestar Galactica if he's a real sci-fi nerd. But also in Scott Fishbowl 11. He's one of my favorite guys on here, despite his Philly fandom. Eagle Dan.
What's up, everyone? That was probably the best intro I've ever gotten on any show I've ever been on. Thank you, Bo. It's nice to be here, guys.
It's a party.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Well, like Jeff said, it's a news day where I didn't even have to write a show sheet. We're just going to be flying, shooting from the hip. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. But first, before Scott talks, I'm taking a victory lap because the biggest news of the day, arguably, is that Aaron Rodgers is expected to retire next week, according to multiple very prominent Vegas casinos and sports books. And guess what, guys? One Vegas casino might be wrong, but not 5 of them. Not 5 of them. It's never happened. Never, ever, 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 ever. So, yes, I think there was a guy who one of the only fantasy analysts out there who's actually sat down and had a beer and a conversation with Mr. Aaron Rodgers, and that's me. And as soon as that playoff game happened, where they kicked a field goal when they were down by 8, didn't make any sense to anybody, especially Aaron Rodgers. They asked him about it after the game, and he didn't have a really clear answer because there wasn't one. And then he didn't also have a clear answer about his future with the franchise because there wasn't one. From that moment, I was like, this guy's going to retire. That was the moment I was like, he's going to retire. I just knowing the guy on a more deep level, I was like, this guy's never bluffed. He's as straight arrow as they get. He's insanely intelligent. And he's not messing around. He doesn't want them to play games with him. He doesn't want them to call his bluff. And he's not bluffing. And here the news keeps getting worse and worse. The Packers keep doubling down on this calling of the bluff that doesn't exist. And here's the very bottom line of this whole issue for me. End of my victory lap is going to be they told Aaron they didn't want him with their actions. And then when he told them, let me go then, or I'm basically going to be, there's like, let me go, or I'm not going to play for you anymore. And they said, okay, or give me some help. Let me go or give me some help. They did neither. And now they're surprised that he's backing away. So, okay, guys, all you had to do was fire a mediocre GM to keep your Hall of Fame quarterback, and now your future Hall of Fame wide receiver and potentially other stars on the team. All you had to do was fire a mediocre GM that traded up for a mediocre Mountain West quarterback that probably would have been there later. I mean, if it wasn't, it's not a big deal. You still have Aaron Rodgers. Rant over. If he retires, I'm right, and I was right since February. If he doesn't retire, I'm wrong, and Vegas is wrong. I'm just going to leave it at that. What do you think, Scott?
Here's all I'm going to say. You never say nice things about me like you do about our guests. Like when you think about our guests, it's like real nice. It's like Jeff Bell, who like invented writing and stuff, and then like Uncle Dan, who like rode the Eagles Super Bowl, like into heaven, and then like
he actually designed the Philly special. He was the curator, and he even had one of the only guys on the line of scrimmage shield the side judge from the view that it was an illegal formation so that they could get away with it.
I heard that they had Dan's cousin yell out from like the 5-yard line, "Your mom eats Philly cheesesteaks with no cheese." And then people were like, "What the hell?" And then that's what really happened. There was a cheesesteak slam is what kind of got you
And
there.
Another rumor I heard that has not been verified as false is that Eagle Dan also taught Trey Burton how to throw the ball.
Dan, are these true? Are these true?
It's all true. All of it.
I knew it.
Everything you've heard about me, it's all true.
I don't know who told it.
Yeah.
But I heard all of it.
Jeff is still on the road with Metallica.
Stylish, that's right.
No, I would say, Bo, you're right about Aaron Rodgers, and it pains me because I definitely took him in Scott Fish because I went, big or go home. I mean, that's what you got to do in Scott Fish.
You even asked me what you should do. What did I tell you?
Yeah, and you said, don't do it. You said, don't do it. He's going to retire. And then I said, I'm going to roll the dice. So I got to say, cheers to Bo being right about Aaron Rodgers. I hope it's not true. But I mean, you know what? We should bet it. If the sports book are saying it, we should just bet it right now. Then we'll make some money off of it, right? What are the odds? Like minus what?
Well, the point is,
what are we? What's
we're getting the drift that he's retiring because they pulled all the lines surrounding the Packers. There are no bets available. No. That's the move. When Vegas drops all the lines and throws them in the trash, that's not good.
No, but with Jeff, do you actually think that Rodgers will not be playing football in 2021? Do you think?
What I think that they're going to do is, so the Packers have no incentive to trade him, and the thing of it is he's very upset with the organization. He's coming at them, but the organization's got pride too, and they took the quarterback in the first round, and they're just not going to bow over to Aaron Rodgers. They've made it very apparent and very clear that they're going to do what they want to do. And so I don't expect any deal or any traction until, if you're the Packers, you're going to hold out until October, because the reality of it is, if you're getting draft picks back, where he's going is going to be way better than If he goes to Denver, you're not going to trade him to Denver tomorrow and give him a whole preseason and a whole everything to get acclimated to Denver. It's going to be the Carson Palmer move all over again, where they held out until October. You allow Denver to lose 3 or 4 games. They get more desperate, and then they trade for Aaron Rodgers, and your picks are worth a little bit more that you're getting in the package. That's what I expect to happen either an October trade or after the season. It's the type of thing where the team gets desperate and the Packers finally say, okay, well, now we'll give in. But you can sit out for a season if that's what you're going to do. We'll trade you to get something for you now. But they're not going to trade him tomorrow. They're not doing this guy any favors. And so I think that's what people need to realize too, is that it goes both ways. And he can say what he wants about the organization, but the organization can do what they want to do too.
Mm-hmm. Which is why he's not coming back.
No, he's not coming back. He will not play for the Packers.
So by October, he's going to look fatter than Ben Roethlisberger, who was wearing a nice slim fit shirt yesterday. And he looks like this every single summer, by the way. Like, we always release that summertime photo of Ben Roethlisberger, and by October, he looks like a Yeti again. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to gain weight faster than Ben Roethlisberger by October. He's going to be probably following a Sherpa at Mount Everest in October. Who knows? And he doesn't need football anymore. He's done everything there is to do with football. He's a guy that's in the happiest point in time in his entire life right now, ever. This guy he's had a miserable run through the last few years where he's ended and began different rocky relationships. His family falling out was very public. He's gone through the ringer. And now that he's finally happy and he's not happy going back to work and he doesn't need to go back to work, I'm telling you, this guy is the type of person who probably hasn't spent a dime of his lifetime salary in the NFL. He's got enough from endorsements, but he comes from the same area code as me, where being rich means that your family made more than $40K a year. You don't need much to live on. You go up to the mountains, you chill out, you don't do anything, and you're happier that way. He's that type of guy. He's very prideful, and it's not going to come down to whether the Packers deal him or not deal him. It's going to be whether the Packers want him back and demonstrate that with an action. Them telling him that he has to come back is not going to help.
With Dan, it's big to think about realistic range of outcomes as a fantasy player. And you were drafting in Dynasty this year, drafting a startup or whatever it might be, drafting in Fishbowl 2 weeks ago. I don't think enough fantasy players took it as a realistic outcome that he could retire. Even though, the smoke rings are out there, he did the Jeopardy stint. He seems to like life away from football certainly well. And so I think that was something that was just far too many people ignored it and said, it's Aaron Rodgers, he'll be back. This is all just smoke, he'll be back. And I think that you needed a factor for it. And I don't think we saw a discount on his price like you would want to if that were the case, because somebody in the draft was just willing to take him, where you'd take Aaron Rodgers anyways.
Yeah. With Dan, if Aaron Rodgers does end up leaving the Packers, where would you like to see him play? And you can't say the Eagles. I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm not watching Aaron Rodgers throw to Jalen Reagor. I don't want to see someone drop the football. I'm okay with watching.
You mean the Eastern version of Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
All right. He's not that bad. All right.
I don't know. I think MVS is better than Reagor.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about your receivers, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, or the guys you could have like DK. Oh wait, no, never mind.
Jordan Miles.
Where would you like Rodgers to play in 2021?
The pain. I mean, this is kind of a cop-out answer, but it's easily Denver. I think with them drafting Javonte Williams and having all those weapons with Fant and Sutton and Judy, I think it'd definitely be one of the better supporting casts he's ever had going there. And they'll tailor the offense to him. I do agree with Jeff, though. I think he's not going to be traded before training camp. He'll be traded after the season starts. And with Green Bay not doing him any favors, they haven't been doing him any favors for like 5 years now. That's why he's leaving. Here, just in that draft where they took Jordan Love, the 3 receivers that went after him, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr., and Laviska Shenault. any one of those guys would have been a better clear number 2 for Green Bay and helped them much better. And that's not even talking about the fact that they drafted A.J. Dillon and then re-signed the other running back, Aaron Jones. I mean, they've just completely and totally mishandled the resources that they needed to give him the help he needs to win them in another Super Bowl. And at some point he's got to realize, and he has, that it's just not going to happen. And he doesn't need football. I mean, if he wanted to, he could leave right now and go host Jeopardy for a couple of years and still make a crap ton of money. So I just think that Denver would definitely be the best place for him, but I don't see that trade happening for a while now.
I mean, speaking of another player that is going to be missing time, that was in the news today with good old Michael Thomas. That probably hurt. I've seen some teams. I think Jeff Hazley posted a tweet of teams that have Cam Akers and Michael Thomas. Like, I'm in the Cam Akers team. I am one of those people that are very sad. But Michael Thomas was the news today with redraft. I'll go with Jeff first here. Where do you now kind of see Michael Thomas?
So I was looking at my ranks today, trying to place that where I would feel comfortable taking Thomas, and gosh, it's like wide receiver 3 territory easily. You can easily get up to 24 wide receivers before you'd feel comfortable taking him. And reality is that even might be aggressive on taking him. My concern is that if he's already out several weeks, and we saw how last year it just seemed like there was always a reason why he wasn't on the field, and there were some potential rumors that he didn't want to be in New Orleans anymore. And it's the type of thing where when did this injury occur? When could this surgery have happened? Is this the type of thing where this is just another instance like last year where he's just going to figure out different ways to be off the football field while still getting paid? Is my concern on taking Michael Thomas in redraft. And the reality of it is I don't know if you can get a value that I would feel comfortable drafting him in redraft, just because that's a headache that you're going to have to deal with. And the questions about the new quarterbacks, whatever the offense might look like, his ceiling might be nowhere near what we're used to seeing out of it. And so he's almost untouchable for me in redraft formats.
Thank you. I mean, it's lucky to have injuries work in your favor. It's lucky. You shouldn't be victory lapping when somebody gets hurt. But I'm pleased to say that all 3 of these guys were guys that I was avoiding at their ADP. Michael Thomas a little bit less so, because his value was a little bit more intriguing. Luckily for me, I was looking at other people in that same range, save my bacon there. But I mean, if you're looking at different players that have kind of fallen off the map, Cam Akers I thought he's a great talent, but a little expensive at his ADP. So I was thankful to dodge a bullet there. I was heavy on Darrell Henderson as the kind of, like, if I'm doing modified 0 RB or even full 0 RB, or if I'm looking to hoard handcuffs, which is really what I'm prone to do in any kind of draft, is take all the handcuffs. I want all of them on my bench. My bench is going to be all handcuff running backs, and make me an offer. And I'm going to laugh at your face and reject your first offer and make you pay up the nose for a handcuff, or I'm just going to keep them and use them, because inevitably some starters are going to go down. And that's it's nice to see these things transpire in your favor, because it doesn't always happen that way. I mean,
and then you yell out, "You've been hoarded."
Yeah. Well, and the Aaron Rodgers thing, I mean, this is just lucky for me to say, hey, I happen to have a little bit more insight on the person that's in front of us here rather than the football player. And so, where I've been a very staunch supporter of Aaron Rodgers as a player in the past, I was too afraid of me being right to roster him anywhere this season. In any startups, any redrafts, I was like, no, because if I'm right, I'm going to feel like crap. And that's it's been lucky so far. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, my legs crossed that it keeps going this way. But you have to trust your own process, and you have to understand your own risk tolerance. Dan, what do you think about the risk tolerance of this offseason so far? I mean, how are you faring?
Oh, pretty good, actually. I did when you put out that that Aaron Rodgers thing before. I actually did agree with you, so I also don't have him really much anywhere. I didn't even have him on my board for Scott Fishbowl. I just thought that where he was going ADP wise, he was way too big of a risk for this exact situation that could happen. So I wasn't even gonna touch him. As far as Cam Akers goes, I thought he would be good, but I'm not like a zero running back truther, but I always fade running back on principle just because I think that you can get more consistent points elsewhere as a general philosophy. But like risk tolerance, like I agree with you. I'd say just pick up like the back of running backs, like the Pollards and the whoever's, and then I'm a big fan of Pollard, and go from there. And as far as Michael Thomas goes, like I'm not even. I agree with Jeff and go even further. There's no way I'm even touching him in any realistic scenario in redraft. They don't even know how long he's going to be out for. When he comes back, he might not even be fully healthy because that's a pretty serious ankle injury for him to be out that long. And as a receiver, you kind of need your ankles, so I've heard. But I mean, I'm a doctor, but. And like you said, Bo, like there's just been like for the past like year or so, it's just been, it doesn't really seem like he wants to be in New Orleans or on the field. It doesn't seem to be any kind of rush to get there. So where he would realistically go in drafts, I just don't, and there's going to be plenty of other players with more consistent work where you don't have to have the headache of crossing your fingers and hoping he's there for you when the playoffs roll around.
Yep. You got to understand your own risk tolerance. Some people are taking gambles everywhere you look, like mostly what I do. I mean, it's like the only couple guys that I was kind of hesitant on are just the ones that are going down right now. But I know I'm in for it coming down the next month and a half before the season starts. I am definitely in for some heartbreak because it's inevitable in camp that things are going to happen. And I've been super aggressive just about everywhere else. So let's dive into that Rams situation a little bit more. It's since we got LQ right here in the comments section, I do want to twist the knife a little bit harder on the Rams because I still think this team is a contender. Cam Akers was a very valuable piece, but McVay's the king, absolute king of lying to the press, of lying about running back shares. I mean, look how many carries Malcolm Brown got last year. Ugh, just terrible. Great blocker, not a good running back overall. He's not exciting. He doesn't score points. Cooper Kupp is a zone-only type, gadget-type receiver. Robert Woods is a Swiss Army knife. He's pretty darn good. I love the guy. But it's like you add Stafford to this mix, and for me, it just confused me. I was like, I think this defense is good enough to win a championship, but adding Stafford to this cast of characters doesn't really blow my skirt up. What do you think, Scott?
So I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I think what you see in McVay and the potential he has to scheme for his weapons, I think it's exceptional. I mean, you saw him take Jared Goff to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a real feat. We're going to see what Dan Campbell can do to not get his knees bitten off this year. Because this is the thing that's so crazy. I'm going to tell a little story real quick. I'm on vacation. I didn't want anyone to steal my popsicles because they're special popsicles. They're mine. And also the Simpson family, they just eat each other's food. Like it's just like carnivorous wolves. My family would bring home takeout growing up, and you put like a sign on it, like, if you touch this effing sandwich, I'm going to murder you. Don't you dare steal my sandwich. You wake up like 3 hours later, it's gone every time. So I gave this little rah-rah speech about, hey, don't eat my popsicles. You know what I'm saying? And you just look like a big idiot, when you're doing that. And that's kind of like the analogous, in this situation, you're looking at a coach who understands what he's doing, but he doesn't have the ingredients right now that he wants. And so he's saying, hey, guys, I got popsicles, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them right now. And so I don't know what this offense is going to look like, but I think the offense is going to throw a lot more now. I think that the weapons, Higbee gets a little bit of a bump. I think Kupp and Woods get a little bit of a bump. I like Deshaun Jackson as your 18th round pick in best ball because he is a flavorful popsicle. If we're going to go long deep into this stupid freak metaphor, you're allowed you're allowed one cuss on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, and I get it each week. So I win again. But long story short, I think that Cam Akers is a vital part of this team, and losing him really knocks them out of Super Bowl contention. Like, I think it cuts them out because McVay now has to scramble and kind of figure out what he's going to do. And I don't know he's going to be successful given the short time frame to turn around and kind of make adjustments. I know he's got different running backs. Malcolm Brown last year was a box. He ran like a rectangle, man. That's all I got to say.
What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, for me with McVay, it's like this is going to be a different McVay we've seen because he's been able to run the ball. He's been able to kind of rely on a dude who can use play action very well. But now he's a quarterback who can throw at every single point of the field. He has the arm talent to do anything he wants. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what McVay does this season in terms of play calling because it should be different than what we've seen in years past because he doesn't have Todd Gurley. He doesn't have a quarterback with limitations. And the weapons that he has in the receiver room are more talented than what he's had in the past. And I mean, I'll throw this one to Dan, where with this offense, do you think McVay needs to add, the people are saying Le'Veon Bell to the running back room? Or do you think he just needs to wait to see one of these running backs that gets cut from one of these teams that's currently on a roster, similar to what Carlos Hyde did with the Texans back 2 years ago, I think it was, where the Texans signed him like right off the free, like 1 week, started him week 1, 17 carries.
It's pretty easy to find a guy who can get you 3.5 yards a carry, though.
Fair.
Yeah, I definitely wait. There's going to be some like the guys that are free agent running backs now are still going to be free agent running backs if that's the route you really want to go in a month. I mean, they're free agents for a reason. They're not going anywhere. I'm definitely going to wait to see if like a younger back gets cut due to a numbers game or a numbers crunch somewhere else, and then sign them. Maybe you get a guy that has a little bit of upside and turn him into something for basically free. So there's no reason in my mind to rush to sign a running back before camp even really starts, in my opinion.
True that. Running back happens to be a position where people the concepts aren't as complicated as a wide receiver or tight end or a lineman. The concepts are pretty simple. You have a gap assignment, you have a blocking assignment. And once you get that down, you can pretty much jump in and run a play. And if you don't know, you're standing right next to the quarterback most of the time, and hey, what am I doing? Like the quarterback will tell you what you're doing because the defense can't hear you with crowd noise. And that's it's kind of interesting. I do agree with Dan here, where they're probably going to pick up a camp cut, a cap casualty type player, because none of these free agents look good at all. Like, it's not the type of person you want to bring into a locker room that's going to clog up the roster with a veteran salary. I mean, those veteran salaries are a lot more than if you pick up Royce Freeman, if the Broncos cut him, that's a guy who really hasn't had his fair shake of volume for the pedigree that he had coming out of college. There's some talented young backs that haven't had the mileage on their tires, and we haven't seen what they really are. We know what Le'Veon Bell is right now. We saw it last year. He's another Malcolm Brown, and he's not as driven to be great as somebody hungry who just lost their job. Like, put that guy in the mix behind Henderson. Let him show what he can do and try to earn that next contract.
What do you think about trading for like Marlon Mack? Well, I mean, somebody who is a third wheel in a backfield who can get you some PPR action.
Gonna need to fight Jim Irsay for Marlon Mack. That's his guy.
Yeah. He loves all running backs. He just collects them.
No, Mack's his guy. I mean, I think that's simply an olive branch type pickup where, like, hey, we don't need to sign you because obviously running back's coming off a fresh Achilles. We don't know what you're going to be as a player. We're going to see what you are in camp, and we don't have any commitment to you after camp. But it looks good to say, hey, your family, we're gonna pick you up when you're at your lowest. And so, I mean, I think Irsay, for all of his warts as a person, he definitely sees a lot of the people in his franchise as family, and that Mack signing is a pretty clear example of that.
I like it. I would still like to see the trade, though, because I think he is not going to get enough action and volume just to satisfy himself as a person. When you're an NFL player, maybe you're happy to just get paid and just to kind of like linger in the background. But I mean, I think most people who've gotten to this level have gotten here because you've been competitive, because you've been, giving your all. And I think Marlon Mack was somebody who didn't overperform, but when he came out, I don't think people were like, this is going to be a guy who's going to be successful. You got to have him on your team. He was undervalued. And so I still think he's undervalued because you got JT. You don't need him that much, but he will get some run. And but I think he could get a lot more run in an offense, that needs a back right now. But that's just my personal opinion on like what I would like to see. It doesn't happen.
They don't need to trade for a guy like Mack. They can get an equivalent or even better younger talent, or maybe not younger because Mack isn't that old, but an equivalent talent with less mileage, less injury history that's serious for less capital, because trading for Mack even would be a late round pick or a compensatory pick in return. And the Rams aren't going to be willing to give that up for somebody who's just going to be in the rotation.
Yeah.
And
Mack had that same Achilles injury that Akers just had. And right now, until we see something else, I think he's just a name we know. I don't know that he's Marlon Mack anymore is the biggest thing right now. And so to trade for him, absent seeing him on the field and absent seeing him at that level again, is not something that you can consider, really. And I look at, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. They added Jake Funk in the 7th round. They kept Xavier Jones on their 53-man roster last year. And all these backs are very similar backs. They're all in that 208-pound range. They're all shifty. They can all cut up and go upfield. And so I wonder if it's not going to be Darrell Henderson's going to have a fantastic job to be a bell cow in this system if he's able to hold up to the work share. And certainly they used a high pick on him. They drafted Akers right afterwards because his rookie year, he really struggled to pick up the concepts. And so I think there was some improvement last year. And so if he continues to do that, if they see what they want to see in the preseason, I don't know that I am expecting a big move just because I think they kept Xavier Jones in a crowded backfield last year. So I think they like him, you would think. And then Jake Funk, he's shown a little bit of flashes at Maryland. I don't know if I'm sold on him really being a guy that even makes the roster, but oftentimes what we see with the veteran running backs is after week 1, because that salary is not guaranteed and you're at a different compensation level if you don't have the guy on your roster week 1. And so we've seen historically in the past, those veteran guys will get signed after week 1 and then come in and pick up the system quickly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
There's other news today with that I actually just prepared. I was on Rumbley's After Dark before this, and Jeff, I ripped Eagles team, or Eagle Dan over there. I ripped the Eagles, and I have to bring up this guy who probably took Scott's popsicles. This is the face of a man that would do it. But really, though, I feel like this is what happened today with Emmanuel Sanders posting his vaccination card and Cole Beasley just arguing with teammates on Twitter. And I mean, Jeff, you're a Bills fan. I'm not really getting into your stance on it because that's your personal go-to with this. But looking from a fantasy perspective here, is Cole Beasley is he even worth the time to even pick in any single format at this point?
No, and I have him in that our 20-team Thieves League. I had a bad day today because I had Michael Thomas in that league. I've got Beasley in that league, and my team was already in a 20-team league. We're not dealing with deep teams, and so it was a rough day. And I don't know. I've kind of the last couple of weeks, whenever Cole Beasley would say something, I kind of just brushed it off as there's a lot of time before the season starts. This is a guy that's letting his feelings be known, but he just keeps going. I don't know. And it's just another day. And you bring up a great point. They bring in Emmanuel Sanders. And I really thought that when they signed him, the idea was essentially last year they didn't have a backup for Beasley, or they didn't really have a backup for Diggs. They had guys that Gabriel Davis can get down the field and make a big play for you. Hodgins was hurt last year. He's coming back. But I think what they really did, they lost Beasley late last year, and it really affected their offense. They didn't have the slot to come in. So I think they went out and got Emmanuel Sanders as that potential replacement slot. I just don't think that they were planning on it beginning of the season replacement slot. And right now, it's hard to find a format that is worth grabbing Beasley, short of if you're in a 27, 28 man roster and you get him on your 28th pick, that's one thing. But to go and use anything sort of valuable on him, that's something else.
I mean,
yeah, Cole Beasley was one of my favorite Cowboys when he was in Dallas, and it's just like it's disgusting now. It's just it's like, come on, dude, just shut up, just shut up. If you didn't say a word, people would still love you because you're one of the best rappers in the NFL. You're a pretty decent person from everything we can tell, but this is something you don't need to say anything about. It's like
watching. I was gonna say it's like watching your ex become an influencer and not be good at it. That's the only way I could describe watching Cole Beasley as a Cowboys fan at this point. Like Cole Beasley
has OnlyFans and she's still asking for money. Then
it is crazy though because he was beloved. The guy, the fantasy community, the football community loved this guy, and it's just like it's one of those things where it's like I feel like you see people that it's like everybody just builds up, and then they still think that everybody's out to get them. And it's like, no, man. Like, we wanted to buy in so bad. And, like, you just have convinced that everybody's against you that you turn everybody against you. Becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
He's so frustrating. I can't stand him.
And his injury last year did propel me to some DFS winnings thanks to Isaiah McKenzie. So I'm still a Cole Beasley fan. On and off the field. I just wish he would say less.
I just feel like he thinks he's Julian Edelman and like he can get away with something like this. Like I feel like if Julian Edelman was in this stance, he would one be more respectable. Like he's a very fiery player, but he does know how to speak from everything that I've seen from him. But two, like people would more so respect his opinion. Like call him an idiot, but like right now it's like I always have a thing where a team that breaks out the next year, I just don't want a part of them. The Eagles, I did it when you guys had the MVP season with Wentz pretty much. And then with Lamar Jackson this past year and the Ravens. And this year, like the Bills were the team that I'm just like, Diggs, I would like if he wasn't getting drafted as the number 2 receiver or number 3 receiver. But it's just frustrating of a topic. I mean, Dan, do you have anything you would want to add to Cole Beasley? Because, you don't have to play him anymore. That's the good news.
I mean, I wasn't really playing him to begin with, to be honest. Yeah. It's just it's a big mess, and it just didn't have to go that way. I think in fantasy wise, I mean, Sanders can more than likely pick up the slack if he doesn't play, and this just gives more fuel to the Bills trading for Zach Ertz. People, so
I think it makes Gabriel Davis and his shares in best ball a little bit more valuable, which just it gives you like a 2 touchdown bump, I think. So maybe he was going to get 6, now he gets 8. Maybe he gets 10 more receptions. So I mean, to me, it's quantifiably, maybe 25 points pushed in my direction, hopefully. And that's just how I'm thinking, But also, I could touch on something you guys did say earlier, Bo. You touched on it. We had some not controversy, but just kind of people arguing over, people being too sensitive, people taking victory laps, people, just mind your own business, just who cares? We're fantasy analysts. This is what we do, blah, blah, blah. I did want to touch on that because I would like to say that we have to humanize everybody that we're talking about. And so, like, Cole Beasley, I'm not going to say a bad name about him. Like, I'm discouraged in some of the things he said. Maybe he's acting like an idiot, whatever, right? But he's a human, and we're all human. And we all experience life in real time, and we don't always make the best decisions. And so I think in general, we can have more acceptance for people. And, Bo has tons of Darrell Henderson because he didn't believe in Cam Akers. He didn't slam dunk it on people, but it is part of
I believe in Cam Akers. I just didn't want to pay for him. Not
the price. That's what I'm saying. But if I say I don't believe in somebody, it doesn't mean you're not a good player. It just means at that price, I don't believe in you. I'm not – personally, I really don't believe in Joe Mixon at the RB 10 or 12, 13. I like other players. I'll take Najee Harris. I'll take Antonio Gibson. There's players. I'll take CEH. Maybe not CEH. But there's players I will take that I like. It doesn't mean I don't like Joe Mixon. There's a value that I get him at, and I'll take him, end of the second round, beginning of the third round. That's my Joe Mixon window. Doesn't mean I'm never going to take him. He's never going to get there, though, to me. So, long story short, I like this for me, but I'm not trying to victory lap on Cole Beasley. I'm just trying to say it does – all these things benefit our value in fantasy and dynasty and DFS and whatever it is from day to day, that there's a market value that these players possess that's part of it. It's transactional, it's monetary, it's a part of our lives, but we can't let that dictate how we treat people. And so I think that's the big picture. And I think if you victory lap, you do it in a way that's much more humble than I saw some of the victory laps that were done. Look at me, listen to me, I was right. That's not how it works. Victory lapping is saying, I worked hard, I put in the effort, I'm really excited that it worked out this way, and we're going to keep going ahead.
I know the guy.
I know. Hey, listen, a lot of people, and here's the thing, people got so upset that they're like, I hate you, I'm never following you again. Unfollow. Other people are like, you're my best friend, man, I'd do it again. I hate this. Here's what we're supposed to do as people. Affirm each other, listen to each other, respect each other. And if we disagree, it's okay. We don't need to go like either or. So let's try to be a better community. I'm on that kick myself as a person, just trying to be a better person. So I've got 4 of the best people here in DFS, by the way. Bo and Jordan, all I've been doing all week, my family talking about who you are, because they're like, you're doing a podcast? Here on vacation? Who are you doing it with? I was like, I'm doing it with 2 of my best friends in fantasy, 2 of the smartest guys in the DFS world. Jordan, my brother-in-law is a hedge fund manager. He wants to talk to you. So, there's just, great things to be had in community and loving each other and standing on each other's shoulder to lift each other up and not to snipe. And so these guys in here are not snipers.
Excuse me, Scott.
They're thieves. They're thieves. That's hard to say. Not snipers.
Your brother doesn't want to talk to me, though?
There could be a spin-off venture with the hot sauce.
So Friends spinoff to Joey wasn't very successful. Let's just say that.
I mean, Scott, you did say something about, or Bo, you mentioned you didn't want to pay for Cam Akers. And, these past 2 weeks, SEC Media Days have come out, and we got Bryce Young supposedly getting over $1 million in endorsements, which is just crazy. And now all of a sudden, Texas and Oklahoma said, all right, see you, Big 12. We're going to the SEC. I mean,
they were gone 2 years ago. This is just paperwork.
Yeah, but Jeff, I know you're huge into college football. You and I have gone back with Alabama and Ohio State. And now there's rumors that Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, Florida State might be joining the SEC. What do you think about this mega conference just forming out of nowhere?
I don't know that it's out of nowhere. Is really the reality of that. I look at it. We talked a little bit pre-show and kind of what with the news today, the news that's come out lately. I took a step back and it's really, I think it's a result of you've just got a lot of different things that happened in a very short window because COVID came and I think that changed conversations. There were conversations about playoff expansion, and I think the reality of what it is all these different factors got the people that needed to be in the room together. And I think it's the type of thing where they started talking about college football playoff, what we're going to do, expanding that. And then I have a feeling that where things went with the NIL inevitability, players going to be paid, they kind of looked at it and said, we have teams in our conference that don't have interest aligned with what we want to do. We want to move our football in this direction. They're not going to move with us. This is going to be a continuous headache. We are not equipped. The NCAA is not equipped for oversight, but we, both as school and as a conference, are not equipped to handle these player compensation issues. Because the reality of it is what you're going to get is player salaries. And I think that when they kind of looked at it, college football is certainly the wild, wild west, and it's even right now the way that the structure is. It's more so like that. And so these schools are looking at the amount of money that they can make. They're looking at it and saying the Big Ten TV package is fantastic, but the reality of it is everybody's paying that for Ohio State. And so if Ohio State pulls out and maybe brings Michigan, Penn State along with them, and you're going to consolidate this TV bargaining power into one conference. And how that's going to work is all of a sudden, instead of Fox saying, hey, maybe we don't need to pay for the SEC package because we can just go with Ohio State and be completely fine. Now you're going to have Fox, ESPN, whoever it might be, bidding against each other to get portions of this. You're probably going to split it out like the NFL does with, having the different broadcast partners. But also you're bringing in the same umbrella where you can start to get some oversight and control on these player compensation things. So you don't have a guy rolling down and Alabama booster dropping $5 million on Quinn Ewers' doorstep before he even plays a snap. And so I think that's the reality of it's just schools realizing how quickly this money can get out of hand and how quickly you're handing this to 18-year-old kids is a little bit different than a guy that's been through a college program and going to the NFL and getting that contract. So I think it's just one of those that it's necessary. There were a lot of different factors that all hit at the exact same time, and it caused schools to look for solutions. And I think that schools are willing to get a little bit more creative because they saw in a pandemic state, things can change quickly, but we can also be adaptable and we can change to accommodate that.
Yep, completely agree. It was a perfect storm. I think the smart schools, i.e. Texas and Oklahoma, saw this coming. They saw this coming probably sooner than it actually happened.
Boomer
Because
sooner.
Boomer sooner.
I mean, Ohio State and those of the world, Clemson of the world saw this coming too. Unless Dabo's making the decisions, then Dabo still thinks that the players aren't going to get paid. I don't even know what Dabo thinks, but
I love the headlines that say. Yeah, I love the headlines that say that the players are finally making more through endorsements than they were under the table.
But the reality is it seems the idea of handing an 18-year-old kid that hasn't even played a college snap millions of dollars seems crazy to me, like wild to me, because you get these kids that they don't even get the money and they still think they've made it just because they stepped foot on Alabama with the scholarship and they never pan out. And so it's just, you don't have unlimited money to just be handing money out to these kids, but at the same time, you're going to be paying an 18-year-old more than what Nick Saban is paying by the time you get there, just because we've seen what happens with player salaries when you're in a competitive environment.
Oh yeah, at the same time, it might also be like NBA Top Shot, where you get a big frenzy of money at the very beginning to set a market, and then it implodes because there's no foundation there. It's just they're just throwing dollar bills up in the air to see if who catches them. But the TV money is where it's always at. And you made a really good point with the bidding war that this is going to create, where this sort of movement could void some certain TV contracts based on conference realignment happening. And if that happens, we have a whole new round of bidding for all these great, huge market games that are going to be played in a mega conference or of few super conferences. So you're going to have CBS, ABC/ESPN, and Fox just duking it out. And then you got your private, like Texas has their own network. Notre Dame has their own network. You have the SEC network, which is already huge with ESPN. All these established networks are still going to be there because they were already tied with certain companies, media companies. But you're going to have those allegiances shaken a bit if they have a big super conference. I think the best position is to be like Texas or Notre Dame, where we saw this coming a while back and we already have our own private media networks, so we can go wherever we want.
Well, the story is Texas nuked their network as part of this agreement with the SEC. So that's supposedly gone. And the other story that came out today that I saw was essentially the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma. They went to their partners in Fox and they said, hey, we want to lock in the TV money. We want to push it out a couple more years. And Fox told them, you're not worth what you think you're worth. And that's where some of this came from. Fox said, we're not going to push this out. We're not going to give you this more money because you're just not worth what you think you're worth in this contract, because the reality of it is Texas football is not what Texas football was 5-10 years ago. And even Oklahoma, despite them being a playoff contender, they haven't won anything in the playoff. And so that is not really the brand that you're looking at within Alabama or within Ohio State right now. It's just not moving the needle quite like these schools think they were. And so that's a big factor in going to the SEC.
Yeah, Oklahoma, all you ever did was make top draft picks. God.
Oklahoma is the most overrated program in America, and I will say that. I don't care. Yeah. They barely make it through a watered-down Big 12. They get officiating help every single week, and it's the most ridiculous thing. And then they go into this playoff game, and they get boat raced every single time. And I'm just so tired of it. I'm happy to join the SEC because now they'll get boat raced weekly by LSU and Auburn, whoever it might be. And we can stop talking about Oklahoma as being this blue blood program. Lincoln Riley can run off the NFL, be the next Eagles coach, and then get fired after 2 years.
Dude, Dan, I also have to ask, what is your team for college football? Do you have one or no? You just like to watch it?
No, I do. It's actually LSU.
Did you become a fan like last?
No, it's been a long time. It wasn't just because of Joe Burrow. I promise.
That's fine. I mean, I'm sorry for the Les Miles years. That must have been
that was
not so fun. But
wasn't fun.
The Joe Brady. I mean, hey, Joe Brady's on my team. He made your team good. This is like we're friends, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
we're friends-ish.
No, the Eagles. I mean, the funny thing is, in the NFL, the Eagles, when they played like the Panthers, you guys have dismantled us every single time we played. From my memory, it's always a Monday night game, and you guys just beat us like 31-17. In college football, it's been a little different for the last 10 years. I would say we've probably won 7 of those. But Dan, what are your takes on this super conference? Since you're an SEC fan, so you get it. I mean, you're not one of those Big Ten fans that think you're better than us, or that Pac-12. I mean, the circle will suck. I'll bring back that meme. I'll do it. He's not even looking though. Bo's scared. He doesn't want to see it.
The Pac-12 one. Yeah, that one's played out. That's a played out meme.
Yeah, but Jeff made like super excellent points. He had a great breakdown of it. I think finally with the NILs, it just put to rest what we've all known for about 20 years now, where there's only about like 30 football teams that anyone actually cares about. It's just a fact of life that you're going to make more money now going to Alabama than you would going to San Diego State, and everyone knows that. So it just finally moved it where it needed to go, where it's been kind of dragging its feet, where it needed to go to these super conferences and, get these maybe like one, like the SEC and maybe one other one where you get like 18, 20 teams and just go at it. Because that's all that really people care about. I mean, obviously you have like the hometown fans, but those hometown fans, like Utah State isn't driving any TV revenue. Let's be honest here. So the fact that they're finally like doing this and they're forming these super conferences is just pretty much going towards the end game that we've been going towards for about 20 years now. So finally is all I have to say about it.
Yep.
I think Bo's just interjecting some of his dreams that he's had over the years, just trying to make them like wishful thinking, like Disney, when you wish upon a star, doesn't matter who you are.
I'm okay with all these programs that have been beaten up on Citadel for years. They can go cannibalize each other now and lose 3 or 4 games, and they'll be exhausted by the time they play a Pac-12 champion.
I found a different circle of suck. I found it.
The bottom of that circle is way scarier than the bottom.
Ryan Day has not lost a Big Ten game. I'm just going to say that. And if Alabama actually tested for COVID last year, the national championship might have been a little bit different too. I'm just saying. We lose half our lineup, and you guys are at full health. I don't know, in the middle of the pandemic somehow. But it is what it is. Nick Saban has COVID for a day, and he's fine. Yeah, it's cool.
He had COVID like 6 times last year. Like that guy, every week it was like Nick Saban.
Positive test on Wednesday. Friday, it's cool. It went away. I don't even know what happened.
With contact tracing, he still hasn't seen any of his players in weeks.
No. Only in the South. Let me just be honest with you. Like in the North, that just would not happen. Like up here, like enough angry moms would be like, I'm going to the school board. So,
the moms in the South, they're like, you're still playing the game, right?
Hey, listen, he's got a broken collarbone, but he can get in there. I don't care what he says. Get in there, Stevie.
I mean, the secondary for Ohio State was just healthy. I mean, it didn't stop Devontae Smith from being 15.
No one's going to stop him. Drafting. By the way, I'm not going to talk too much underdog best ball. If you're not on the underdog streets, what are you doing? I mean, seriously, get on the underdog streets. Promo code NIMBLE. Please sign up. Bo and I will play with you any day. Bo and I are in a special DM group on Twitter. Reach out to me or Bo if you would like to be in it. It's just a degenerate draft. So if you want to draft in best ball, every day just throwing drafts in there like darts. But anyway, Devontae Smith, his ADP has gone higher than morning wood that I get every morning when I got to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like it's so high. It's just like the top of the ADP.
So it's a good value. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying it's third round. It's pushing the top of the third round. Like you want to push it up a little higher than normal. You're like, this is third round, man. What am I doing? I mean, not third round, but third wide receiver. Like wide receivers, he's pushing the top end of it. Like he's almost infringing on wide receiver 2 territory on underdog. I'm just saying, sometimes it gets high.
I mean, you just gave Eagle Dan morning wood when talking about how highly Devontae Smith is
already.
thought of.
It's not even morning yet.
I mean, Eagle just watched, Justin Jefferson go before him, the previous draft, DK Metcalf. But now he's got Devontae Smith, which is the guy everybody said, like, the Giants were going to draft. And somehow, Bo and Eagle Dan hugged it out and, made a trade, which was just
wild.
Why?
That's because the Panthers screwed up and took a corner like an idiot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We passed on Justin Fields.
None of that would have happened if Carolina did what they were supposed to do and not draft the corner.
Well,
if they take Slater there, the Cowboys get a corner, and then everybody's happy.
I mean, if Deshaun Watson doesn't have the legal troubles, we probably make a blockbuster move for him. But instead, I've got Sam Darnold, and I just have to
instead, the Eagles are going to make a blockbuster move for Sean Watson.
That's right. We are.
This is my guy.
He's all ours now.
So you're gonna make the blockbuster move. You're gonna send Jalen Hurts to Houston, and then Deshaun Watson's gonna be put on the commissioner's exempt list all year long, and you're gonna have Joe Flacco. Is that right?
Yeah, Super Bowl winner.
We also have Nick Mullins. So I'm not worried.
Even Shanahan could make him good. So I'm not. That's not a very promising.
Hey, Jeff's sitting there thinking, I've got Mitch Trubisky. You can send a trade over the Eagles. I mean, hey, we'll make him look good in preseason.
That's right.
Well, Trubisky got the best. He got reached for in the first round, made a lot more money than he should have by his draft position, and then he gets his second job as a backup quarterback behind the most indestructible force that plays 4 positions on the field at once, Josh Allen. I mean, he's the running back, he's the fullback, and he's the center because he doesn't need somebody in front of him to block. It's just we're talking about Thanos basically on the field of Josh Allen. And so, I think Trubisky's going to be fine with his clipboard and his haircut. And that's really going to be what his job is, making $6 to $8 million a year. I want that job.
He'll sit all year long, and then week 17 will be a meaningless game, and he'll come in, roll up 400 yards, and he'll trick somebody next year into signing him to be their quarterback.
The Matt Flynn syndrome. Matt Flynn syndrome.
It's an endless cycle, You get that one glimpse, and somebody will say, "Hey, maybe this guy, maybe improved behind Buffalo. We saw what they did with Josh Allen. It can be Trubisky too. We'll buy in."
Who was their backup last year? Because that must have stuck when Josh Allen went out there and played the whole game in Week 17.
Pac-12's finest, Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley. It was the first-round pick of that one poor sap in Scott Fishbowl 10.
Yeah.
Hey, he was famous for a day, and he used his first-round pick on Matt Barkley.
Yeah. But, we're getting to the hour mark. Yeah.
Yep.
So, Jeff, for you, where can people find you? What are you working on? I know you've been posting articles on Fantasy Pros and be like, hey, tight ends are cool again. This is what we should do. But what do you got up in the works right now?
Yeah, right now I'm working on a draft series for football guys that should be coming out here soon. And then I've got some stuff in the pipeline still with Fantasy Pros. I'm taking a little bit of a week or two off with them, and so the content never stops. You can find me Tuesday nights at 9:30 with the Debbie Royale on the Going for Two network, and then you can find me Tuesday nights at 7:00 with Coming Off the Edge. Me and my friends get together, and we just have a good old time on Tuesdays at 7.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm really happy with that ETN article you wrote because I did the same research for LaVisca Chenault and a few weeks ago, and I was like, we came to the same conclusions about the roles that were going to be played, and I was like, ooh, a talented combination of agreement and confirmation bias. It's so powerful. It's like a drug. So thanks for that, Jeff. I needed that confirmation bias.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a fun article to write. It was just one of those that I followed Urban Meyer closely for years and kind of have a feeling of what we're going to see in Jacksonville.
Yep. How about you, Dan? Plug all your stuff. Drop it hot.
So actually, I do have an announcement. that I was actually saving for today.
Breaking news.
Breaking news at midnight. I actually just accepted a position with Champions Round.
Wow.
To be lead writer for them.
Congratulations, Dan.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was going to do it earlier, but I figured, do it here. So that's what I'll be doing from now on. I'm also part of FYF. They had a big show today on FanDuel.
Yep.
So
awesome.
go there. I love all those guys. And shout out to Kansas for trying to go to the Big Ten and doing the Rutgers thing and abandoning ship quick.
That's great for their basketball program.
It is. It is.
You guys,
we need to Oregon and USC. I'm telling you right now, Big Ten. If you want to be serious at all, Oregon and USC, just fire away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to that ETN article, Jeff. According to what I saw on Twitter, it was the best fantasy article in the history of the world, apparently. And I read it too. It was great. You did a great job. It was really good.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I agree with that because it agreed with my research at the same time. So yes, I agree.
And
Best ever written.
As long as I agree with Bo, everything is fine. I realized we're friends when I agree. When we don't, we hate each other's guts.
I haven't talked personally to any other NFL players besides Aaron Rodgers. So if I'm spouting about somebody who's definitely going to retire, don't listen to me. That was all I got.
That's it. Empty the chamber. You got nothing left.
Yeah, that's it.
it's over. No, I got to say, you guys are both very impressive. And Dan, I'm so glad that you got to come on and that you were part of the show. And, you not being on the show, I didn't go on the show either. So Bo was just on the show by himself, which was really funny. And so
do not go back and watch that back. It was terrible.
Delete it.
That does not need to. It was my first solo ever, so it was just like I ran out of things to talk about because usually I'd share a bunch of time with these idiots, and so it was an hour of me just rambling on about Scott Fishbowl, which that was good for about 58 minutes, and then Scott was playing with his puppy instead of ending the show, so I had to go another 11 minutes over, and yeah. I ended up singing a little bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers at the end. So if you do go back and watch it, fast forward to after the hour mark.
Yeah, that might be copyright infringed. So maybe they can take it down if somebody reports it. Anyway, I don't want to get my account suspended. But thank you for coming on. And then, Jeff, I'll say this. It's been a long time coming, and I'm really excited. We're definitely going to do something just me and you. Because I appreciate. Listen. I'm not saying I'm just saying. Listen.
Get a room, Scott.
Listen, I love Jeff Bell, and I don't care who knows about it.
Put yourself in the bottom row, sir.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
He gets a bonk. He gets a bonk.
I do. I get a horny bonk. In the course of, I'm like grinning ear to ear. I got dimples now. In the course of my experiences the last year. Lots of people have reached out to me to care for me. It's been a staple of my life, of other people lifting me up. And when I've just been really down, helping me, and that's a really cool thing to experience via a social media app where you don't get to see people face to face. So getting to see you face to face and broadcast with you is just super cool. But I'll just say this. There's a lot of other, sausages in the factory right now that might need to get squeezed out. That's all I'm saying, And so I would love to talk to Jeff.
Jordan just
earmuffs, Jordan.
Yeah, hey, Jordan, meme that up. A bunch of sausages in the factory.
Please don't. Please don't do that.
And actually, it's really ironic. Yeah, it's really ironic because next week's guest is the one and only Cooter Doodle, so it will be the complete opposite going on here.
Yeah, I'm just going to say
we might actually have to behave ourselves next week.
We will. I would just say, Jeff, I appreciate the level of personal care that you've demonstrated to me. It really has blessed me. So thank you, brother. I really appreciate you, and it's just great to broadcast with you and be here tonight. So thank you.
Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. You're awesome. Jordan, where can people find you now that you've taken over at 4 for 4? When are you coming out with your kind of boom?
So DFS-wise, when DFS season kicks off, but actually just like Jeff, because, we're real different with content everywhere. we are doing a Champions Draft series going on, so I'm going to be, writing something about the number 1 overall pick. Fun facts, McCaffrey will be the first pick. I'm sorry. I know that's super homer of me, and I got it wrong. Don't follow my advice if I'm second and I'm in your league. But, 4 for 4, I'm glad to have the opportunity. I'm super excited to hopefully win people some money. I mean, I've said it to you guys. I've said it to anybody who's actually talked DFS with me. It would mean more to me if I can make a difference in one of your, like, say you hit on a lineup that I helped you with whatever way, and it helped your kid go to college or help someone do this. Like, that would mean more to me than me winning. And, like, that's what I want to do this year. I'm hoping I can do it. I've helped my friends win in the past. Haven't been the best with all of them because some of them just like, hey, you're stupid. I'm not taking your advice. I win, they lose. I've like my best friend. Literally every day he profits, I don't profit. And then when I profit, he doesn't profit. Fun fact, he doesn't profit very often. That's the sad part. It's
Boom.
sad.
Mic drop. Suck it, dude.
Love the kid, but there's been like homerisms where he just refused to give up on Jonathan Taylor in the beginning of the year. He just kept going back to the well, and I'm like, no, not yet. It's not time.
You would think you would catch a hint these days.
Exactly.
If you go back and listen to previous episodes, he might name drop him so you can connect the dots. inside the podcast, inside the like one of those like chasing a murderer podcast, like chasing a bad DFS player podcast. You could get his boy's name and then find out, like what to fade. So anyway, Jordan, you're awesome, brother. We love you. So glad that you're going to be on Chalk Block. I mean, this is the thing. You see somebody like Jordan, and I wish I was a millionaire so I could just be like, can I give you some of this million so you could work with me? But I'm a hundredaire, so it doesn't work that way. So, but I will say, so glad to have you here. Bo, where can people find you? Because apparently you're not enough places yet, but you're still everywhere at the same time, and you're crushing it as well.
I get a little bit leery about naming all the places I write for these days because I'm worried that I might leave one out. That's the nature of freelance work. I am currently writing for nimblewnumbers.com. That's DFS content. I'm also now writing DFS content for Ball Blast. That's an exciting development that I think I'm going to be writing maybe 3 articles a week for them. And we're not talking big, long verbose articles like I'm used to writing, but something concise to the point for different slates. And of course, I write Devi and Dynasty for going for 2, Dynasty Vipers, Rum Boys, and what's the other one? I know I'm forgetting one. So there's
cakes. Don't forget the Hammerjacks.
No,
you done?
Hammerjacks is also DFS, and so and that's going to be coming up soon too. My goodness.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a lot of fun to put stuff out there. I'm actually not going to do a weekly Picantics this year, but I am going to drop a massive preseason Picantics that includes every single team. Every single team is going to have a Picantic. And it's going to lay out how I think this wild 2021 season is going to shake out. And so that one's going to be an epic, like Odyssey. That's going to be Homer's Odyssey of predicting the future.
I got to say, Bo Big Time. You say that 3 times fast. See if you can do it. His DFS knowledge last year, Bo, I was bragging to my brother-in-law about you as well. I'd said this is the guy who is way better than me, but somehow I won more money than. And so the universe is going to have to tilt this season so that the better player actually comes out on top. So I cannot wait to see what you do and how much money you win and how successful you are and how much money you help other people win that subscribe and that work, and go along with our content this year. You can also, though, taste Bo. And I told this to Joe. Joe said, Joe's my what? It's his sauce. It's his sauce. It's a hot box.
Oh, yeah. That makes it so much better.
Taste Bo's sauce.
And it's his sauce. I told my brother-in-law, this is what you want to invest in. You want to invest in Jordan DFS, Bo, his hot sauce. That's where you want to give all the money to Bo. So, yeah, Bo, I'm talking about you too with my brother-in-law. And I would say you need to go right now to bigtimeflavorcode.com. And then, but what's the other one? Because you bought like 3 of them. Hotboxbash.com. What's the third one?
It's easier. Bigtimeflavor.co.
Okay, bigtimeflavor.co. And get yourself the bundle. Get yourself some taco sizzin. Get yourself some rub. Get yourself some delicious hot box. Get yourself some That's Clucking Hot. What else am I missing? Anything else, Bo? Anything else on the read?
Amigo.
Oh, Amigo. It's new. Yeah. Okay, and that's fiery hot, right?
No. That's all purpose. You can put it on everything. You can put it on your T-shirt and you probably eat it.
I would. Oh, and speaking of T-shirts, I'm rocking my this is undroppables. I love them. Welcome to the machine. It's a Viridian Global. Go get yourself a Viridian Global product. Bo, are you wearing a? Yeah, I thought you were. Metallica there from Scott Fish. They're awesome. Will's a great guy.
The shirt's for Jeff.
Yeah, it's just for Jeff. Oh, look at that, Jeff. You're loved, Jeff.
I have the same shirt, but I didn't wear it tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't do screen. I share the screen because I don't have another screen to do that because I'm on vacation. I did tweet out after Jeff shared about Josh Allen and being indestructible, and Bo was saying that. I did say, is there a table that Josh Allen could break? You know what I mean? Hashtag Bills Mafia. And so, go check that out on Twitter and get that trending so we can get him to go through a table. Because I mean, has Josh Allen done that? Like, he's got to do that on video, right? Has he not done that yet? That's like
I don't want my quarterback to go through a table. The lineman they drafted this year went through a table right after he got picked, and I'm fine with my lineman taking tables for my quarterback. I don't need my quarterback.
I've seen babies. I've seen babies go through tables, Jeff.
I'm saying, man.
I know. Listen, he can wear pads. He's not going to do it drunk on Fireball like everyone else does it.
You know what Trubisky's job is to take that table for Josh Allen.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so we need Trubisky to take it for him.
Trubisky go through a table.
That's acceptable. Let's get that going. Let's get Trubisky takes the table for Josh Allen. I want to get that trending. But do follow all of these friends. I think all their Twitter handles are up. Hangers. Yeah, they're all up here. So Bo_McBigTime, Jordan Bannock DFS, for whom J Bell tolls, and then at Eagle Dan FF. Please follow Dan, Bo, Jeff, Jordan, and myself. Lots of stuff from myself as well. I'm not going to name everything here; it'd be annoying. But Bo, I am doing a overrated for every single team in the NFL for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. So kind of the same thing that you're doing, looking at every team, not doing a total preview, but analyzing one player for each team. I released one of my players already on Matt Harmon's show last week, and it was Tyreek Hill, and the world, shit their pants. I think you can say shit because it's not the F word. But anyway.
Strike 2.
That's strike 2. I did it twice, so maybe strike 3. And people just lost their minds because he's number 1. And I said, if you're not first or last, he's got to be number 1 if you're going to draft him there, or he's not going to be number 1. And people just said, how can you say that? Well, it's because he's got a great chance to be number 1, but there's 10 other guys, who have a chance to do it too, or so, maybe 6 really. But, you can check me out there, Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Articles are out for rookies, for wide receivers, and running backs. I'm interested to read Jeff Bell's article. I've not read it yet, Jeff, but I want to see if your ideas match mine, if I need to adjust my ranks on ATN for sure. And then you can also check me out. This is a great thing you guys should all go check out yourself, not just for me. Run the Sims. It's going to be an amazing tool this year for DFS, for fantasy, for simulations. You can go run 10,000 simulations on a DFS slate in 30 seconds. I love that. That just gives you some data that you can use to kind of evaluate and who's going to be there. They've got wagering. They've got fantasy content right now. They've got best ball rankings up there. So you can go there. It's all free. There's going to be a paywall that goes up in a couple days. I think it's August 1st. The paywall goes up. So please do sub. Get in there. It's going to be great content at Run the Sims. And then Underdog. Get on Underdog. Bo and I, all of us are on Underdog. We're all there all the time. Please play Underdog, codename Nimble. I think that's it. I think that's all we have to plug tonight.
Yeah. What happens if we get 100 subs with promo code Nimble?
Oh, yeah. So I'm a big bitch. I'm not going to lie to you. All my brothers have tattoos. My sisters have little wrist tattoos. My twin sisters up there. Everyone in the family has a tattoo but me. My wife's got 2 on her back. And I'm just so scared to do it because I'm a pansy. And but if we get 100 subs before the season starts, I'm going to get the Underdog tattooed on my body somewhere. Probably not on my ass. because it's kind of invasive. But maybe right here on this big white stallion arm I got here. Is it white enough? Can you see it? Is it blind?
I think the tattoo is going to show pretty well.
Yeah. So we need to do that. Just listen, Bo and I do get a piece, but we're splitting it, Mike, Bo, myself. So it's not like we're even getting rich doing this. It's more just driving people to a thing that we love and that we do every day, at least 2 or 3 times. And so that's just how I live my life. I want to be in the underdog streets with you. So
are we still talking about underdog?
We are always and forever. Yeah, my life's about underdog. I'm on there all the time. So please do check it out. Love everybody here. Thank you guys for coming on and follow everybody. And, please check us out and subscribe to all our content. Like us on Twitter, retweet us, subscribe to our YouTubes, put the bell on for alerts, all that kind of stuff.
You can like us in real life too. We're pretty cool once you get to know us. I'm just saying.
I mean, for an Eagles fan, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, even Bo talked to me, and he's a Dallas fan, so it must be something right.
Yeah, that was before I thought your name. I thought your name was ironic, and now that I know, it's kind of fucked up.
Oh, wow. That's strike 3 because I was just and on that note, I will just say, God bless everybody, and I'm going to try to end the show. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know.
Do I have to say a curse word?
No, you can't say curse word.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Definitely not before the ad reads. That's for sure.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value, market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors, LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network, LLC.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit them online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.